In 1986, researchers entered Lechuguilla Cave in New Mexico. It was supposed to be another step in mapping one of the most mysterious caves in the United States. But within days, their story would be remembered as the cave that refused to let go. Lechuguilla was no ordinary cave. It stretched more than 160 kilometers underground, with shafts plunging hundreds of meters deep. It was one of the deepest and most dangerous caves in the country. The walls glittered with rare crystals, passages twisted like a labyrinth, and vertical drops cut the cave into levels that seemed endless. It was beautiful, but it was also unforgiving. In the 1980s, teams of scientists and explorers came to study its geology. They were fascinated by the unique minerals, the rare microbes, and the scale of the system. But exploration came with risk. The cave demanded ropes, harnesses, and flawless teamwork. One mistake could trap someone hundreds of meters down with no way out. On one expedition, disaster struck. A researcher slipped while negotiating a vertical shaft. The fall was brutal. When the team reached him, he was alive, but barely. He had severe back injuries, unable to stand or climb. Deep underground, surrounded by stone and silence, he was trapped. Can you imagine lying in the dark, unable to move, knowing that the only way out is straight up through hundreds of meters of vertical shafts? The team called for help. Above ground, word spread quickly. This would not be a rescue measured in hours. It would take days. Specialists from across the country were flown in. Doctors, rescue cavers, technical experts in vertical hauling. More than 100 people gathered at the entrance. They knew that bringing a man with spinal injuries up through narrow, twisting shafts would be one of the hardest rescues ever attempted in America. The plan was laid out: stabilize him, secure him in a stretcher, and then haul him upward, centimeter by centimeter, through the vertical maze of Lechuguilla. Rescuers lowered doctors into the cave. They treated him where he lay, giving painkillers and immobilizing his spine. They strapped him into a rigid stretcher, one that could fit through the narrow shafts but still protect his injuries. And then the climb began. Imagine pulling a stretcher up a shaft the height of a skyscraper. Ropes groaned, anchors bent. Every pull required a team working in perfect rhythm. The stretcher scraped stone, swung over drops, and wedged in tight corners. Each obstacle had to be solved before the rescue could move even a single meter higher. The work never stopped. Rescuers rotated in shifts, some pulling, others guiding ropes, others checking knots. Doctors climbed down again and again to check his breathing, his heartbeat, his pain. The cave was cold and wet. Every hour drained their strength. Every minute felt heavier. Exhaustion showed on their faces, but no one dared to quit. If one rope team faltered, another stepped in. The effort became a chain of determination linking the surface to the depths. Above ground, families and reporters waited. Updates came slowly, passed from one team to another, until finally they reached the surface. People listened for news, wondering if the man below was still alive. Some prayed. Others stared silently at the entrance, imagining what he must be enduring. Inside the cave, progress was painfully slow. At times, they advanced only a few meters in a day. The stretcher caught in the narrow passages. Knots had to be retied. Ropes frayed under the strain. Every mistake could have been fatal. Still, the rescuers kept working. Each small gain felt like a triumph stolen from the mountain. Can you picture it? 5 days underground, trapped on your back, listening to ropes creak and voices echo, not knowing if you will ever see daylight again. For 5 long days, the rescue continued. Teams battled exhaustion and fear. The man endured endless hours strapped to the stretcher, lifted inch by inch toward the surface. The cave seemed determined to keep him, but the rescuers refused to give up. Finally, after 5 days of brutal effort, the stretcher emerged into daylight. The injured caver, pale and broken but alive, was carried to safety. Cheers erupted. Exhausted rescuers collapsed. The impossible had been done. Lechuguilla Cave had tested them all. It had broken bones, drained hope, and demanded everything. But for once, it had not claimed a life. 2 things were certain after that week. Lechuguilla was one of the most dangerous caves in America, and the line between survival and tragedy had never been thinner.